Growth forecasts will be downgraded in next month's budget as uncertain economic times also threaten to prolong inflation pain. The Treasurer will hand down his third budget in a bit over 3 weeks' time. So what will be in it? Political reporter Cameron Redden is with me. Cam, the Treasurer is still hopeful of this budget surplus. We've got some measures we know that will be in there, and the rest of them, it's beginning to take shape.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. 22 days is the countdown now, if you like, for the budget. So 3 weeks from tomorrow. We're entering now that period of expectation management to some degree. But the Treasurer really setting the groundwork and framing the budget today, talking about the many different global pressures that are impacting the decisions he's taking, well, that we'll learn about on May the 14th in 22 days' time. But the Treasurer, given that nature of global uncertainty, is calling many of his biggest shots early. Here's some of what we already know. We know the big centrepiece of the budget from a cost of living point of view will be the government's reworked Stage 3 tax cuts. Branded the cost of living tax cuts. They kick in later this year. Every taxpayer gets a tax cut. That'll be fully costed, and we'll see some more details around that in the budget. But that'll be the big centrepiece of it. We've also had the billions of investment flagged through the Made in Australia plan, a future Made in Australia policy, focusing much on investment through renewable energies and emerging sectors, things like solar and hydrogen, critical minerals as well. The government partnering up with the private sector to invest in there. Other measures included too, things like superannuation to be paid on government-funded paid parental leave. That'll help around 180,000 families. So all of those measures taken to the bank, locked in. In terms of what's still to come and what we're expecting to be finding out about potentially in the days between now and May 14, but in the May 14 budget, the Prime Minister has spoken for much of the year that he likes the model that's been used for power bill relief. That's an energy bill rebate. 5 million homes, 1 million small businesses benefit from that measure that was announced in the last budget. There's been talk about potentially a rent assistance boost. There was the biggest on record announced in the last budget. Could that be a way of not only politically trying to win back some voters that are being lost to the Greens, but also appealing to younger Australians who are feeling the pinch? The Treasurer made a point of that today, which has brought that next cab off the rank really into the conversation. A potential change to the way that HECS is indexed. Currently, HECS help loans indexed to inflation, which rose around 7% for the last year. Of course, noting that young Australians, the Treasurer today, are feeling particularly the pressures of inflation and cost of living biting, indicating in his press conference a short time ago that while the tax cuts, he's saying once again, every taxpayer benefits, but the Treasurer keeping the door open to even over the next few weeks taking new decisions that could help Australians with a particular bent towards those doing it toughest on lower incomes and younger Australians as well.
We know that it's not mission accomplished because people are still hurting. And you can expect to see in the budget a focus on cost of living help. A tax cut for every taxpayer will be the centrepiece of the cost of living help in the budget. And if we can afford to do a little more than that, then those decisions will be taken in the next week or two.
So more help if we can afford it is the message from the Treasurer there. Tom, you mentioned a surplus too. The Treasurer talking up his hopes that a second surplus will be within sight, although he noted today that there won't be the same benefit this time around that the budget saw last year from commodity prices, that the intake will be noticeably lower. It came in much higher for the last budget, $22 billion, a much higher surplus than was expected. He's saying today, the Treasurer, managing those expectations, there won't be the same influx of commodity prices this time around. So the surplus, if there is one, may not be as significant.
Cam, thank you.